Hi, in this video we will go through a journey of a user who has been upgraded to a tutor. So if you remember from the last video, a normal user could actually apply for teaching, right? So he could click on want to teach and eventually fill up the application form, and then there was a possibility that he or she might get upgraded to a tutor profile. So this is, let's say, for a case when the user has already been upgraded to a tutor profile. And this screen, which is the home page, is, let's say, for the first time when this user logs in after being upgraded to a tutor. So here you can see that it's a bit different. So you have some differences in terms of the header itself, some extra side navigation options, and also the homepage is a bit different. So this homepage, it shows right now, welcome to Gunabu, Catherine. So it's a welcome message and then some really basic details. So this page would actually be shown to this user only till she has completed all the information for her tutor profile. So it shows check boxes that she needs to check, or the things that she needs to do before she can start being a tutor or she can start selling her lessons. So here it shows that you have completed your profile, so this one is done. And then second thing that she needs to do is to set her schedule. So this is something which she can do. So for example, if she clicks on complete now, so it takes her to one of the site navigation options, which is my schedule. So my schedule is nothing but it's a way of maintaining a calendar for a tutor. So we need to know at what times a particular tutor is available and what times are not suitable for the tutor. So this is how we do it. So we have two sorts of calendars or two sorts of availabilities for a tutor. One is a weekly schedule. So what this means is that in general on a Monday, what slots are available for you. So this is on a weekday level, tutor would actually put in the available slots for each of these days. So let's say on a Monday I'm working, Tuesday I'm working, maybe on a Friday I can do for evenings, right? So let's say I put in 7 p.m. to, I don't know, 11 p.m. for Fridays. So this is something which I can do on a weekly or on a weekday level. And then there is another slot booking which is for a particular date. So if, let's say, I have this weekly slot, but let's say on a particular Friday I'm going to visit my aunt or someone, right? So let's say I won't be available on that particular Friday, but in general I'm available on a Friday. So under this on Friday I'll put my availability, but for this particular date on that particular Friday, let's say it was 18th of November, I would remove my availability. So these are the two tools based on which tutors can actually maintain their availability in the platform. So they have this weekly schedule and then they have a particular date schedule. So these are the two settings that they need to do. And for the first time when they save this schedule, we would actually mark a flag on their profile that okay, they have set their schedule, and then this would again be shown as completed. And then this is basically this so this shows that okay, go through your be an amazing tutor course. So this is basically Gonavu Tutor 101 course that we would have hosted on a third party website. So we don't have any pages related to that, but let's say if a user clicks on that, as soon as he clicks, this would be marked as completed. So basically this is a user who has signed in for the first time, but as soon as she completes all these three actions, this page would no longer be shown and it would actually be her home page. Okay, so let's assume that all these actions are now completed. She has completed her profile, she has completed her schedule, and she has also clicked on this link, which is a course 101 course for being a tutor on Gonabu. So let's say if all of it is done, then she would be redirected to a home page. So this is now the home page for a tutor. So I mean, after completing those three things, the tutor will never see the previous homepage as we saw. So after that, whenever she logs in, she would actually be coming onto this homepage. So this would be the main homepage for a tutor, and it shows a basic dashboard. So you have these many upcoming lessons, these many upcoming classes, how many lessons or classes have you completed as a tutor, what was your total earning, your balance. So balance is basically earnings minus everything that you have already withdrawn out of Gonabu. So everything that has been deposited to your bank, that if you subtract that from your total earnings, you get the balance. Amount in pipeline 50. What this means is that we offer a refund policy for example, 10 days. So if a student has bought your lesson, and if you have completed the lesson, 10 days after the lesson only you'll get that amount in your earnings. Before that, that amount is supposed to be in pipeline. So even though you have taught the lesson, but those 10 days when the user can actually ask for a refund, it's not a revenue for you. It's basically something which is in pipeline for you. So that's the concept of amount in pipeline. And then you have upcoming lessons as tutor, upcoming lessons as student, upcoming classes as tutor, and upcoming classes as student. So if you compare it to the homepage of a normal user, it's actually very similar. The only difference is that you have this concept of as tutor and as student. Because if you are upgraded to a tutor profile, it doesn't mean that you cannot take lessons or take classes for yourself. You can still be a student. So all these options of lessons and classes are actually segregated into as student or as teacher. So basically you might want to see your lessons where you are a student, or whether you are a teacher, right? So these are the two categorizations that have happened for a person who has been upgraded to a tutor level. So yeah, this is the dashboard. Then again, learning from the last few videos, we would actually first go through the side navigation bar for a tutor. So this is the dashboard as we discussed. Next is the edit profile. So if you click on edit profile, you would see that this profile is much bigger or much more comprehensive than our normal user profile, right? From what we remember. So you have these details. Actually, most of these details were already asked uh, while he was or while this user was applying for being a tutor, right? So a lot of these fields were already a part of the tutor application. So you have these things, and then maybe the new part is packages. So you as a tutor can actually create your own packages, right? So it makes sense to have hourly booking as well, but also maybe there is something which is it's actually a really good marketing gimmick that you come up with some easy to comprehend packages. So for example, a trial package, or maybe Python for beginners. So you give a really clear purpose to the student, and you create packages based on those purpose. That's something which might help you, increase your bookings. So that's why we give you a provision of creating packages. So basically how this form works is you have a very basic package form. You can remove it in case you don't feel that you want to offer this package anymore, or you can add another package. So if you click on add another package, basically this form will replicate again. And then obviously there will also be a remove button separately for the second package added. And then eventually after doing all this, you can save your profile. So this is the edit profile section. So the first time you save the profile is when that tick box appeared on the homepage, if you remember. The next is my schedule. This we already kind of covered. So this is where you maintain your availability, and you have two ways of maintaining it. One is on a weekly level. Weekly means for each weekday. So every Monday, every Tuesday, likewise, a very generic weekday approach of maintaining slots. Second is particular date. And this is a very important note. So this says that these selections will override weekly schedule. So of course, something uh, that you have put in the weekly schedule. Let's say if on a Friday or on a Monday, you have selected these slots. But let's say if you select a particular Monday, okay, so let's say if you select 21st, and then if you remove these slots, your overall availability would be governed by what you selected here and not the general availability. So this always has a priority over what you have selected here in terms of slots. Okay, so this one is also quite clear. Then my classes as a student. So this one is very similar to what we already saw, right? So you have a tutor. So this is a tutor profile, but tutor can also learn on his or her own, right? So she or he can also book classes and book lessons. So that's why my classes as students and my private lessons as student are the two tabs which shows you the lessons or the classes that he or she has booked as a student. So these are very similar to what we already saw. So you have, yeah, you can cancel the class like we previously discussed. You can look at the attendees of the class, or if you look at the past class, you obviously don't have any cancellation. Then if you go to my private lessons, again it's very similar. So you have different lessons here. You can see what requests are open, what are the requests that you have sent. So if you go inside, you can, yeah, do all this stuff. This is more of a revision of what we already saw in the user profile. You can go back, yeah. Okay, so this one I don't think we should spend a lot of time on these two, because this is something which we already covered in the user profile. The next is my classes as a tutor. So this is now interesting, right? Because this is the other side of marketplace, and this we never saw. So let's say if a student books a class for a tutor, or sorry, not books a class, but let's say if a tutor organizes a class, then it comes up here, right? So here you have the cards which are classes for that particular tutor. So here you have an additional action which is edit class, because if I'm a tutor I should be able to edit the details of a class, right? So I can, as a tutor, I can change some details or whatever. I can change the description, title, whatever I want to change. I can also cancel the class. So if I cancel it, gets cancelled for all the users who have already enrolled in the class. And then I can also look at the attendees, which is very straightforward. And then also, because this is a normal sorry, this is an online class, so I should be able to send a link. If you remember, from the student side we have a provision to click here to start a class, right? So from the tutor side we need to send a link. So as we discussed before, that we use Google Hangouts for sending and receiving these links. So basically you can put in your Hangout link here and click on send, and it would be linked on the student side to this button. So when they click on this button, it actually goes to that particular Hangout. Okay, so this is, and then you have past class, which is again, I mean, not a lot of actions on past class, because you should not be able to cancel it, you should not be able to edit it, blah blah, right? So that's something which is more read only. And then if you go to private lessons as a tutor, so here again you see there's a small difference that you have. If you compare my private lessons as tutor to my private lessons as student, you see that first of all there's a difference in the number of filters itself, right? So here you have open request, upcoming lessons, past lessons. Here you have those three, but you also have new request, because the flow is that when a user books a lesson with a tutor, it first of all comes up as a new request. So what that means is, first of all, do you even want to accept this lesson or not? Location change, schedule change is something which is very secondary. First of all, you need to say that, okay, at this particular time slot for this particular total number of hours, do you want to accept this booking or not? So that's where the new request comes in. And the one who would be acting on this request would be the tutor, because a student has already sent this request as soon as he or she books the class. So this one shows that, okay, Tom has booked a private lesson with you. These are the details. Check here, check the left panel, and this is the time after which the request would expire. So one of the business logics that we would have is that one request should be valid for, let's say, 2 days. So let's say if a tutor does not take any action on that request, it would automatically get timed out. So this is done because we don't want to have some zombie or orphan requests lying there, right, in the platform. This is what even Airbnb does. So let's say if you make a booking and if the other side doesn't confirm within 24 hours, they cancel the booking, because you don't want to charge your customer where on the other side the tutor is maybe not very active on the platform. So that's why uh, we make this booking, but we also have a timeout feature. Okay, so this is for the new request, right? Everything else is quite same. You can send location change request, rescheduling request. Okay, and yeah, you can see it's very similar to what we already saw. So this is the only difference in private lessons tab as tutor in comparison to private lessons as student. Then we move on to my transactions. So my transactions, this is a bit more, like bit more numbers in comparison to what we saw in the transaction of a normal user. Because for a normal user, they are not earning anything out of the platform, right? They are spending money on the platform and they're getting refund. So it doesn't make sense to make it, like to make the reporting really fancy on their side. But on the tutor side, because they rely on this platform for making money, so we show a bit more of the reporting element. So we tell them, okay, this much money you have earned, these many classes conducted, lessons completed, this much money in pipeline. In pipeline, as we already discussed, means that this revenue you would get once that refund time passes. So that's again a good hint for the tutor that okay, I have 200 more euros coming in if someone doesn't refund. And then this is the balance, which means that let's say if you have earned this much and this is the balance, which means that this you have already withdrawn 9,000 something something amount from your account, and it has been deposited to your bank account. So that's why you have only this much balance left. Okay, and then yeah, so this is for the my transactions section. Then organize a class is basically when you want to create a new public class, right? So you have yeah, form for setting up a class. So you have the class title, description, what category would you want to put the class in, maximum number of participants, price per person in euros, location, whether it will be online, offline, whatever, one picture for the class, and sessions. So sessions are something, because one class can have multiple sessions. Let's say if I create a class for, I don't know, Python for data science, right? So Python for data science is not something that I can teach within 1 hour or within 2 hours. So I'll have multiple slots for that. So that's why what I'll do is I'll create multiple sessions, and then for each session I'll select a time slot and I'll select the name of the session. So if you remember from the class page, these are the sessions that actually are being created in that form. So you have session one, which is some detail for that session, that okay, what will you be teaching, and the time slot for that session. So that's why in the form you have this provision of creating sessions. And again, like the other example with packages, you can, for sessions also, you can keep on adding sessions. So you can add another session, select a slot for it, whatever. You can also remove sessions in case you made a wrong selection, and then eventually you can publish a class. Okay, so I think yeah, for the first video, so in this video we have already covered all elements of the side navigation bar and the home page. In our next videos we'll cover other parts.